Hello BookTube, Sarah here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my Harlequin anticipated reads for March of 2019. Yay! I love these videos every month. I love looking forward to the new books coming out from the Harlequin imprints, and this is just so much fun. So, as per usual in these videos, I am asking you to please pick me a book. Listen to all the books that I talk about, and please post in the comments below which one you think I should read at the end of this year. So this is for part of my 40 Years of Harlequin project, which is a project in which I am reading one book published each year from 1979 to 2018, one book a week this year. And then of course there will be 12 weeks at the end of the year after those first 40 weeks. So I will be reading 12 books published in 2019, one book a month at the tail end of this year. So I want you guys to pick me a book. Which one sounds the best to you, essentially? So let's jump in and get started. The very first book is A Harlequin Desire, and it is Billionaire Country by Silver James. When I saw Silver James had a new book out, I got very excited because I do really enjoy her writing. And this is the story about a country music producer who meets up with a very pregnant runaway, did it say runaway? A runaway bride, of all things. And she has a really great voice. So he produces country music, and I guess he really likes her voice. So he agrees to kind of let her come and stay with him. And then the baby is born because essentially he wants to produce her music. But of course the two of them are going to develop a relationship. If you guys didn't know, I am a huge fan of country music. So anything with a country music kind of subplot in it really interests me, and this one sounds really great. Next up, we have a Harlequin heartwarming story, and this is A Promise Remembered by Elizabeth Mowers. This is about a man who finally comes back to town and runs back into the woman that he was in love with in high school. So this is essentially a second chance romance. And what got me for this one is when I was reading the very brief description about this book, there's a line in here that kind of really made me go, yeah, that sounds interesting. And it's, are a sick mother, a failing diner, two adorable children, and the woman he's never stopped loving enough to make the right past wrongs and stay. So obviously something happened in his past that forced him to leave, but they now want him to stay because I believe he is the local doctor. He's like back like as a doctor, kind of an idea. So it sounds really cute, and I think I'd really like to read this one. Next up, we have a Harlequin historical, and this is Shipwrecked with the Captain by Diane Gaston. This one sounds so good. It's about a woman who ends up on this ship with this ship's captain, and she has amnesia. And he believes her to be part of the aristocracy, which he detests for some reason or another. You don't really know why just yet. And, you know, so he agrees to kind of bring her back to town. And there she finds out she's got this very wealthy fiance. But she just knows she doesn't belong here. There is something wrong. This is not where she's supposed to be. And that these people are lying to her about her past. So the ship's captain, agrees to kind of help her figure out who she is and why these people are lying to her. I love that bit of intrigue part of it with the whole mystery aspect of it, and it sounds really good, and I'd really like to read this one. Next up, we have a Harlequin intrigue, and this is Storm Warning by Michele Hauf. I'm very interested in this one because I am familiar with Michele Hauf's work. She wrote primarily for the Harlequin Nocturne line, which is a paranormal line. So the fact that she's kind of delving into romantic suspense interests me a great deal. So this is the story about a woman who happens to have the very same name as a person who was murdered in this tiny little town. You know, one of those towns where nothing like this ever happens. But then all of a sudden there's this woman there on vacation who just so happens to have the same name as a murder victim that just turned up. So the local police chief is kind of, you know, wants to know what's going on. Why is she here in town? And what does she have to do with this murder victim? And, you know, what's going on with that? I personally happen to think that it might be a case of mistaken identity, but I am very interested in this one, and it sounds really good. A really great wintry cover. I'm kind of drawn to that at this time of the year, but this one sounds like it would be really good. Next up, we have a Harlequin romance, and this is Second Chance with Her Billionaire by Therese Beharrie. And this is book number 1 in the Billionaires for Heiresses series. I would love a first chance with a billionaire personally, but that's not the point. This one sounds cute. It takes place actually in South Africa, and it is about a woman who goes back to, I guess, South Africa for her parents' wedding anniversary, and for some reason her ex-husband is there, so she's now kind of being forced into contact with him, and to kind of reveal why they ended up ending the marriage and, you know, whether they can make it work again. So it sounds like a really cute secondary or second chance romance. And yeah, I love the idea of the setting of South Africa and things like that. So this one sounds like it would be a lot of fun and a really enjoyable read. Next we have a Harlequin romantic suspense, and this is Tempted by the Badge by Deborah, Fletcher, Mello. This is book number 2 in the To Serve and Seduce series. This series takes place in Chicago, and it's about a private investigator who has a teacher, does it say what she is? Just a teacher, come to her to tell him that she is being framed for some sort of crime, a very bad crime from what I understand. And he doesn't believe her. He's, you know, very cynical now with working as a private investigator for so many years, but agrees to help her try and find out who's framing her. And it sounds really great. This is an author I'm not familiar with, but I think this one would be really, really interesting to read. I'm very much into the whole intrigue stories lately, and this one sounds like it would be a lot of fun. Next up, we have a Harlequin special edition, and this is Not Just the Girl Next Door by Stacy Connelly. I'm a big fan of Stacy Connelly's work. I really like her books. This is book number 3 in the Forever Yours series. That's F-U-R. So all these books center around animals. And our main character is an animal trainer, and her name is Molly. And she is the younger sister of our male lead, what is his name? Zeke's best friend. So one of those kind of, I don't want to say forbidden, because it's not really forbidden, but like, you know, dating your best friend's little sister is kind of a, you know, a no-no. But of course they fall for each other, and the story kind of goes from there, and the fact that this series involves animals makes me very excited. So yeah, and again, I'm a big fan of Stacy Connelly's work, so this one sounds absolutely adorable. Next up, we have a love-inspired novel, and this is The Amish Baker by Marie E. Bast. And this one sounds really cute. I thought it just sounded interesting. So it's about a woman who is Amish, of course, and the son of another local Amish man, a widower. He breaks one of her prized possessions. So the father insists that the son, kind of to make amends for this, does odd jobs for this woman in her bake shop. So the little boy does, and of course the woman kind of, you know, thinks this little boy is adorable, and she really starts to like him, and then she also starts to really like the father. But the defining factor in this book is the fact that both of them have different beliefs. Now, both of them are Amish, but she is very traditional, whereas he is New Order. So I think that is very interesting. I did a lot of reading last year for Amish in April, and I'm very interested in the culture. And I know Elizabeth and I have talked about bringing back Amish in April, this April coming. So even if I don't read this one, and this isn't the book that you guys pick, I think it will definitely be one that I add to perhaps my Amish in April TBR. And last but not least, we have a love-inspired suspense, and this is Dangerous Sanctuary by Shirlee Mccoy. I'm a big fan of Shirlee Mccoy's writing. This is one actually about a spiritual cult, in a way, or a spiritual sanctuary, as it says on the back of the book. Now, this is an inspirational suspense novel, so I'm very, very interested how the author is going to play into that whole spiritual aspect of this, like, cult or sanctuary, or whatever you want to call it. So it's about an FBI agent who is going undercover, or who has already gone undercover into the sanctuary, and another FBI agent who's going in to kind of rescue her now. And in order to do so, he's posing as her estranged husband. But once they get in there, they kind of realize that there's a lot more at stake. It sounds interesting, and again, I think I'm more interested to see exactly how the direction of that part of it is going to go, especially considering this is an inspirational romance, like I said. So yeah. So anyway, guys, those are all the books that I have to share with you guys for this month, or coming in March for Harlequin. So please, again, in the comments field below, please let me know which book you think I should read towards the tail end of this year. And yeah, so anyway, guys, that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so, so much for watching. Take care and happy reading. Bye, guys.